turning from party politics to the bigger question of governing a nation through transition. Nigeria is in the middle of far-reaching reforms under President Tinubu, reforms that have triggered economic pain, political debate, and deep public anxiety. Supporters say the country is finally confronting hard truths that were postponed for decades. On the other side, critics argue that the cost is too high and that the timing too harsh. My guest believes this movement is not collapse, but transition. He argues that reform is the painful journey that must come before national rebirth, and that President Tinubu is exercising power with long-term nation-building wisdom rather than short-term popularity. Abdurrahman Musa Dodo is National Steward of the Renewed Hope Intelligentsia. He's a policy thinker who has written extensively on what he calls reform as the womb of rebirth. Tonight, we examine briefly whether these reforms truly align with the wisdom of nation building or whether Nigeria risks losing public trust before rebirth is reached. Thank you for joining us on the show this evening. You argue that reform is not rebirth. I've taken time to read through your article, and what you're saying is that rebirth cannot happen without reform. You know, for Nigerians who are hurting right now, how should they understand this difference in very practical terms? What should they expect now, and what should wait until later?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. The first thing that Nigeria, that's why it is very, the exigencies of our time demands that we must bring this kind of, it demands this kind of organization, the intelligentsia. Intelligentsia are a group of people that are thinking conscious of a nation. And they have now, they are not only, they are only profound policy thinkers, they have a moral duty towards society, and that's exactly what we're doing. To interpret the social reality, against the historical moment. And that is that every Nigerian listening to me now should understand. We have to keep making them to understand this. Nigeria is at the pinnacle of the most significant evolutionary transition. When a country is going through this transition, there's going to be a lot of upheaval. There's going to be a lot of crisis. It's natural. It's natural. In all civilization, in all great nations, you have to pass through this. But how do people understand this matters, and that is what we have to keep explaining to Nigeria. You know, beyond the existence of our time demands that we.
Yes.
Let me land. The existence of our time. Yes, the existence of our time demands that we must begin to explore the inner dimension of our intelligence. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu do not just understand the knowledge of the time. He knows exactly what to do, and that is why he's bringing reform. We must challenge. There's no nation that ever reborn. They go and check all civilization, all great nations. No nation has ever reborn without passing through consciously passing through this kind of phase, painfully, but it's a reformative phase that we must pass through. And that is what he understood, and is bringing this kind of reform that challenge the status quo. We must, before you have a new thing, you must challenge the status quo. Yes, there must be a departure, a conscious departure from the old, and that is why the reforms are like that. So every society must understand that. The people must understand absolutely. And please permit me to add on this junction. People might ask, why is it so painful? It's like a bed pang. It's a bed pang for that. It's going to bring up a new thing. That is natural. Development is naturally driven. There's absolutely there's no great and unified nation do not happen by historical accident. They are never a happenstance. They are product of a conscious statecraft. And governing through a transition period like the one of this time is the rarest and the most demanding form of statecraft, and which President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is confronting headlong with a courageous, bold reform. So we have to understand this. That is the knowledge of the time we are.
I hear you.
We have to keep doing this. Yes, we have to keep doing it so that people will understand the knowledge. People will understand the time that we are, and most especially, the reform must be guided. Most especially, the reform must be guided from a populist distortion and elite sabotage. That's exactly what we want.
You know that
intelligence are guidance of society.
I hear you.
Right,
this birth pang narrative is a very familiar one. It's one we've been hearing since 2023. You are saying that transition is always turbulent and painful. But there's a point where pain also becomes counterproductive, where people begin to lose hope or trust in leadership. How does a government know it's pushing reform wisely, not recklessly?
Yeah, exactly. That is why exceptional leaders that's why exceptional leaders that have transformed the society positively and altered the course of history for their generation had combined wisdom and power in the practice of statecraft. You have to listen to the society. You have to look at the pulse of the society and take their informed idea and put it critically into the reform, so that you can balance that society, so that there will be no absolute chaos in the society. And whereas you must not sustain the decay. So that's why I said it's the most rarest. It demands the kind of leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, but the greatest demand is that the society must understand this. Even if you bring an angel to this society now, I will have studied civilization. Go and study, my brother. This is what I'm saying is history is unambiguous about what I'm saying. It's not. You can go look at great civilization or great country that have passed through this period. If you like, bring an angel to this society, and he must do exactly what we are doing now, because there's absolutely no way you can foster a society with a fragmented, divergent allegiance. There's no way a people can cultivate inspiration. There's no way people can cultivate aspiration, incubate inspiration, and foster a dream to fruition without commonality of purpose. So we must all understand this purpose. That purposeful leadership, that is what is needed. And that is what this kind of intelligentsia need. Every society needs kind of intelligentsia that keep informing the society that this is where we're going and that is it. And if you look, let's come practical now. If you look, you can see that it's moving away from the pain. It's not where we were before when we started. It's not where we were now. Look at it. The reform is yielding it. That is how it is. It's a very painful pace, but it's a period that every society must pass through. But just like I said again, just like I said again, in every society that is in this experience. You have there's no way you can there's no way you can do without communicating, communicating and explaining how it is, so that the society can
choosing future stability over present comfort. Critics, however, say it's a gamble taken without enough social cushioning, and perhaps time will tell what the line is between courageous leadership and insufficient protection for the vulnerable. But that's our time, and it's a good place to leave it. I've been speaking with Abdurrahman Musa Ododo, who is National Steward of the Renewed Hope Intelligentsia. Thank you so much for talking to us on the program this evening.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, sir.
And that's our show today, everyone. You can watch it again at midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. I am Nifemi Ogunsoye.